AI has changed education forever, but most people are focused on the wrong thing. My name is Gabriel Sabria. I'm an educator and I build AI-powered learning platforms. Institutions are freaking out because students are using AI to do their homework, but that is not the shift that's changing education. Here's what's going on. So for hundreds of years, education as a system has had one core constraint. That core constraint has been human feedback, and it's the bottleneck of the whole system. So there is a lot of human potential, but because the teacher feedback is really limited with a bunch of students, the actual learning output is really limited as well. What does this mean? What it means is that students have to adapt to the system. So everyone has to converge to an imaginary average, and that's how school puts everyone in a box. Let's talk for a minute about how learning works, okay? To understand this better. So learning works through feedback loops. For example, if a kid is learning Spanish and he says, yo eres, and there's a feedback loop system that says, no, that's not correct. It is yo soy. And then the kid says, yo soy, learning has taken place here. And actually learning is a function of these feedback loops and the quality of the feedback. So until now, we haven't had high quality feedback to give students. And that is why we needed this main bottleneck figure of the teacher there all the time, right? But what is happening now and what happened at one point? If learning is a function of feedback loops and the quality of the feedback, and we actually plot these two, we see that the learning was limited by the number of feedback loops that the teacher could give to each of their 20, 25, 30 students. Even if the quality of the feedback was really high, each student would only get a certain amount of repetitions of this feedback. So what actually happened that changed everything that not many people talk about is that at one point, not that long ago, there's been an inflection point. Okay, and it's the moment in which the number of feedback loops that the student can get and the quality of feedback that the student gets from the AI systems actually surpassed the equivalent within human-only classroom. And this is when everything changes. And the crazy thing is that it's only up from here. So AI is only getting better. And that means that schools that adopt systems where AI helps the teacher in this individual and personalized feedback loop system will surpass the others by a lot. And this way, the bottleneck of learning is no longer the teacher. It's way wider, and the actual learning that we can give to students nowadays is way bigger. This model changes everything because we go from students having to adapt to the box of school to school adapting to each student, helping them propel their potential as much as possible. So the way I like to see it is this new system of augmented mastery, where we're not pushing everyone to the average anymore. It's about shifting the entire curve and promoting human potential as much as possible. And this is only possible now. That was a huge shift that took place not that long ago. And here there's some fears about the teacher's role. Like, what is the teacher gonna do if the AI can teach students better than the no AI version, right? There's no bottleneck anymore here in that system. If we take a step back and we think of the actual role of school, which is not only qualification, which is learning like hard skills, but also socialization and subjectification, which is deploying like the students' autonomy, identity, and critical reflection, we see that there's actually a role for the teacher here because school is no longer just about learning facts, right? The teacher goes from being an admin to being the guide. But what is going to happen like if suddenly AI can create these massive amounts of feedback and can really propel the skills and the learning of some students to the max? What is actually going to happen in the next years? Well, there is a choice that schools are going to have to make, and there is a lot of confusion because there's many schools that actually do not get AI, are too scared of it, and just want to put their hand in the sand and pretend it never happened, right? But there is no way that this is going to lead to a good result, right? So The schools are going to have to make a choice, and that choice will compound as the skills and the growth of students with schools that are well adapted to AI. So an AI that helps the students think and promotes them and gives them personalized feedback and helps them grow more and more. The gap between these schools and the schools that do not do it is going to be bigger and bigger. And that's why I say here that we are risking a future of profound cognitive inequality. That is the big risk. And that is like having two kinds of school living together. One that is like stuck in the 1900s, and one that really knows, that really understands human potential, and that schools do not have to put everyone in the same box anymore. I wanted to leave you with one quote, that is that the future will be built by those who design for human potential. So those who design and understand human potential, and how everything has changed. The rules of the game are not the same anymore, and how everything has changed. Until next time.